What's up, everyone? It's Kadi with Money Investing. So here with another live stream because we can't not go live on a day like today because Nio absolutely killing it, up over 9.5%, trading all the way as high as $49 and almost 50 cents. So that is the next resistance. I'm gonna quickly go ahead and send this link to our Discord, just so everybody jumps on board. So. All right, so yeah, $49.35. We're literally at a strong level here. So hey man, I miss you. So thank you so much for joining in. Again, make sure that you guys drop a like if you are new to the channel, subscribe if you're new as well, and leave me a comment in the live chat letting me know that you guys can see the screen and also hear me without any issues. Do you know why it's up so much? So the Nasdaq has been rallying, so we're seeing that outperformance from the Nasdaq relative to the S&P 500, right? So the Nasdaq is up, 79, close to 80 basis points. So IXIC, let's take a look. It's up 72 basis points, and the Dow Jones is actually selling off, down about 0.5%. So not only we're seeing a rotation of money, kind of coming in from a lot of value stocks over to growth, but we're also seeing, some of the catalysts that actually came out over the weekend that we broke down in our Nio video as well. So we talked about, how that was very, very important moving forward. So Simple Tech is going into earnings, so we will see boom for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, so we could see that because there's a lot of earnings coming up. But yeah, definitely Nio and Tesla and Coinbase. A lot of our plays are actually doing really well. So Coinbase, you'll notice, finally seeing a huge breakout. So this was the analysis. This was the complete trade that we had on Coinbase. So all the trading setups are actually mentioned. They're already listed on our Patreon. We also talked to them in our private videos as well. Those are all swing trades that you guys can actually take and kind of formulate your own ideas, your own strategy, and see how you want to enter them. Some of them may be long-term positions for me. So Coinbase, for example, there's other stocks as well that are long-term positions for me. So if you want to swing trade them, all the power to you. You can swing trade them, but if you want to invest in them for the long term, that's also an option available. So it really depends on what works best for you. Because obviously I'm not here to tell anybody what to do, but instead we're going over these ideas and these setups with very limited risk, so very limited stop losses here, and of course a profit target and resistance as well. So Coinbase was one of them. But this video, I want to focus strictly on Nio, which is the next resistance at $49.50. So that right there is going to be the level to watch. So Rosny, because I'm happy, clap your hands if you feel like Nio will go to the moon. Yes, so definitely. We think $50 is going to be the next resistance level and the next target for the stock, and we're $49.40. So $49.50, we're kind of like almost touching this resistance. This was the actual breakout, like a technical breakout. So higher lows here, the lower highs over here. We also talked about it in our previous updates, and right now we're seeing a breakout over this $46.30 resistance. So we're actually going to go ahead and turn this level into a support for Nio stock that we need to watch intraday. And of course $49.50 is the next resistance. What is your through on coin for long term? What is your through, or do you mean what is my price target, Ashwin, or what is my analysis? So let me know in the live chat what you mean, and I'll most certainly go over that. But this right here again is going to be Nio. Continue to push higher, consolidating a little bit sideways. We did get a little bit of a pullback on the 5-minute chart before rallying even higher once again, and now we're just starting to push higher even further. So what is my thought on Coinbase for the long term? I am bullish on Coinbase for the long term. I think it's a great business model. They've got a lot of users. All they really need to focus on is how to cross-sell, upsell different services over to their existing users as well. But correlates with the relative strength box resistance. Nio could go to $60 along with Tesla earnings move, maybe. Yeah. So again, earnings are coming up for Tesla. I think it's going to be later this month. Nio hasn't really confirmed when they're actually going to be announcing. According to TradingView, it says at the end of September. So we'll learn exactly when when they're going to announce their earnings. But now we're starting to see a little bit of a pullback after almost testing $49.50 levels. So Jay, any news on deliveries for Nio? That's going to come out on Thursday. So keep a close eye on the delivery numbers on Thursday. That's going to be July 1st. So that's when they're going to report their delivery numbers for the month of June. But super excited for the move higher. Of course, Nio and Tesla, they're both doing really well. Across the board, a lot of EV stocks are doing really well, so they are strong. Starting with Nio, then ChargePoint, Workhorse, CCIV is up over 7%. Nikola, Li Auto, and a lot of them are just straight up, going to the moon today. So price target for Coinbase. Again, I want to keep this live stream specifically for Nio, but Coinbase near-term target is going to be $250 for Coinbase. That's a near-term target that we have. That's also a resistance to watch. The moving averages are now starting to develop on Coinbase, and then moving forward, we'll kind of reassess where that next level is going to be. But 250 is going to be the near-term resistance for Coinbase moving forward. All right, so this right here, let's just pull up the 1-minute chart for Nio stock as well, just so we have a good understanding on the pattern. And we can kind of go over the support resistance levels as well. So again, strong price action here, strong move to the upside, continue to kind of validate some of those higher highs and higher lows. Yes, so if you guys actually want to join our Patreon, did I not include the link? Alright, so this right here is going to be the link if you wish to join. So I'm going to actually pin this to the top. Yeah, so we've actually got a discount coming up for 4th of July. It's going to be an annual discount if you want to save 2 months. So you'll get, for the full year, you'll get that for the price of 10. It's going to be a 4th of July discount that we're going to start this Friday. So if you do wish to wait, you can do that. And again, we're going to have very limited spots available. So Sheila, welcome. Rita, welcome. Everybody, thank you so much for joining in. And I heard there was a shorting in Nio. Can you check? As far as I'm aware, I haven't looked into any type of a short interest peaking higher or spiking, but I think the last time I checked, it was roughly at, I believe, 10, maybe 12% short interest. I think it was less than 10% for Nio. Let's just take a quick look on where it's sitting. So Jason says Nio 70 end of week. Last week we had tons of people waiting on 43 and even 40. Nio will keep rising, I believe. So 70 is is a little bit aggressive. I could see like $50 as a good target that we actually break out over, because $70 that's that's going to be a jump of, let's take a look. It's going to be a jump of 42% this week. I mean, that would be great, but it's a little bit of an unrealistic goal in my opinion. My price target for the end of this year is at $75, which again, for the next 6 months, as the chips shortages is behind us, as we continue to kind of increase the delivery numbers, I think $75 is a reasonable target by the end of this year. And again, we'll see if that actually does come into fruition. But strong move to the upside from Nio today. So the short interest as of, all right, so here we go. So short interest as of, what is it, June 15th for Nio is actually sitting, let's take a look. So for June 15th for Nio is actually sitting at, where'd that go? All right, there we go. So yeah, the short interest now is sitting at roughly at 4.81% as a percentage of float. Only 62 million shares sold short. This actually has gone down 12.15% from the previous data point that we looked at. So the earlier it was like May 28th, and now we're seeing that number actually go down 12% from 2 weeks ago, down to 4.8%. So the short interest, I think, is very low for Nio stock, not as something that we need to worry about for Nio. Yeah, so Marcel for BNGO, it did gap up and it's now starting to fill that gap back in. So you'll notice that we are, pulling back down about 3%. So we're up over 3% right now, but we did leave a gap. So I was, this is not a surprise for us to see a gap up and then come back down to fill in this gap. Oftentimes you'll notice that a lot of stocks, like for example Palantir, on earnings day had a huge gap down and then a lot of buying came in to push us higher. So this is the exact opposite of us, and basically pushing higher and then selling off to kind of fill in that gap. So that's pretty normal as long as you're validating some of those support levels and watching those support levels. For BNGO, I think it's still got a pretty good candidate for a potential breakout to the upside even further. So let's take a quick look on the VXN. Up 1.8%, but regardless, we're seeing the NASDAQ really push higher on the day, right? So up almost 70 basis points. So The 5-minute chart continues to make these high of day levels, so 49.40 remains our high of day. And right now we're just validating that 21 EMA, so let's see if I can actually bring out some of the other moving averages. So that's going to be the 50 EMA on the 1-minute chart. So you'll notice how we are just consistently validating the 50 exponential moving average. We came back down, had a support here, then pushed higher. Double bottom support here as well for Nio stock before pushing higher. So there we go. Now we're starting to see some push higher as well for Nio. So next resistance is going to be closer to, again, 49.40 intraday. Let's see if we can actually break out over that level for Nio. But 49.50 is kind of like the level on the day to watch. So strong move. Like this whole candle with a huge symmetrical triangle breakout is very strong for Nio. And right now it's only 12:30. We got about 3.5 hours left to close. And look at that, we're already at 53 million shares traded, right? That's 2 million more than the average 10-day volume. So already breaking out over the average 10-day volume, and we still have 3.5 hours left for the markets to trade. And usually around lunchtime, which is going to be around here, the volume does drop off a little bit. So would not be surprised if we do get a bit of a pullback here from Nio, maybe down to $49 or something. So so this Nio run, Katie asks if I think that Nio run is legit or should I take a short-term put. I mean, it's got a lot of volume. I mean, there's few indicators that we look at when we try to understand the breadth behind this move. There's the volume, there's the actual price action, whether we see any type of, kind of pattern that's fading away, it's starting to roll over. That's not happening with Nio, right? So you'll notice that we did pull back, but we went up to make high of days. If the pattern is consistently making high of days, it's getting bid up consistently, right? So it's not it's not a fake move. It's not like a pattern that's going to potentially roll over intraday, and there's a lot of volume behind this as well. So in my opinion, again, on the daily chart, we're trading above the moving averages. We're trading above some of the support levels, very strong support levels. So this is as bullish as it gets. I mean, other than that, we may see a pullback. We may see like minor corrections. Right, like we saw like over here coming down to the 21 EMA and then breaking out even further, and this is the highest point since February, right? So we were last trading at $49.50 per share back on February 24th. So this is the exact level that we're trading at from those levels, and before that it was the all-time high when we had the Nio Day event. So this is a stronger move. So I don't personally think that we're gonna see any type of a rollover or a false breakout of this pattern. So, all right, do an interview with David from Off Grid Trading. He's live now. I actually don't know how to add people on live streams, but yeah, I'll definitely check him out. You're saying that he's a former brokerage owner that has been doing this since the Wolf of Wall Street guys. Interesting. Yeah, so I'd love to check out what he's doing, and I'll definitely learn more about him. But thanks for mentioning that. All right, so it's a little bit of a pullback here at close to 49.40. So we got another retest of 49.40 about 12:21, so 3 minutes ago. So that is now a double top resistance for the stock right there. So 49.40, we are getting rejected at the same level twice. Perfect. So you think now is a good time to take profit on Nio? I don't see any reason for 10% today. Really depends. I mean, are you day trading this? If you're day trading this, then yes, it would make sense why you would want to take profits off. If you're swing trading this, again, makes sense, right? It's kind of hard for me to judge exactly what your risk tolerance is, what your price targets are, what your analysis is. From my personal expectations, I'm expecting Nio, at closer to $70, $75 by the end of this year. So long term, I think Nio has a lot of runway ahead of itself as it continues to kind of expand their operations, more than in China. So Europe, entering parts of Asia, Europe, and then eventually making their way into the United States. And of course, as they make more cars and 240,000 capacity, expand those delivery numbers as well. So it really depends, what are you trying to do, like whether it's a swing trade, whether it's a day trade, whether it's a long-term investment. So it's kind of hard for me to really kind of judge what it is that you're trying to do. But if this is a swing trade, then yes, we're hitting a resistance at 49.50. It would make sense why you would want to kind of lock in some of those gains that you've already made. So that's a decision that I think you can make and assess. I can go over the support resistance levels and kind of go over what I'm expecting from Nio from a short-term technical standpoint and from a long-term fundamental standpoint for the company. So once the ET7 numbers comes out, it's a wrap. I agree. I mean, ET7, in China is getting some great feedback. Their target is 50,000 vehicles for Nio in next year in 2022. So again, that's going to be a higher priced model. It's going to drive up those average selling price for the company. It's going to drive up those gross margins. So I think that's going to be a big product for Nio. And of course, we've learned how they're going to potentially be announcing some new vehicles in Nio Day 2022, right? That's going to be either in December of this year or going into next year in January. So very, very excited for everything that's coming up for Nio as a company. All right, let's take a look. So do you see Nio going back to low 40s? As we move away, the probability becomes less and less. I remember I put out this video, I think a couple of weeks ago, where I mentioned that the bottom may be in for Nio stock, basically mentioning that Nio is probably never going to see $30 ever again, potentially. But of course, in the markets, never say never. Anything can happen. But in the very smallest of outcomes for the broader markets is when Nio actually does see like lows of $30 or $40, let alone $30, right? So in my opinion, the probability is quite low. It's still a possibility, but as we move up, the probability becomes less and less for us to see lows of $40. So maybe 46 is a support level here, 46.30. So 49.50 is a resistance. Maybe we get rejected, come down to 46.30, maybe down to $43. But if the Nasdaq really corrects, aggressively 10, 12, maybe 15%, that's when we see Nio at 40. That's when we see Nio maybe potentially even in the high 30s. That's when we see Tesla in like high to mid 500s. That's when we see like AMD like down to like high 70s, Nvidia down to 650s. Like if the Nasdaq corrects and takes all the tech stocks with it. But it's the complete opposite today, right? When Nasdaq rallies, a lot of these tech stocks rally with it, and they rally a little bit higher than the actual broader market. So I think that's the only scenario I see. Fundamentally, we've talked about how the company continues to do well. They're moving in the right direction. They're making progress. So I think it's very important for us to continue to monitor the future earnings call, listen in, and try to understand the best we can. Because with Tesla, there was also a FUD piece over the weekend where we had potential quote-unquote recalls for the company, which was simply a free software update. So good thing is that more and more people are now starting to realize why the mainstream media actually puts those titles in, and it's better because we're now starting to read those reports, right? With everybody sharing that, with everybody reading that, it's better because earlier, we'd read that headline, Tesla recalls 285,000, and the stock would drop like 8%. Why? Because it's important for us to kind of read through exactly why that is and what is the actual reasoning behind that recall and whether it's a recall or not. So I think it's good that the price is not reacting to that. Well, it's reacting in the opposite way. It's up over 2.5%. So this right here again is going to be the 1 minute, 5 minute chart. We are seeing a little bit of rejection here at close to 49.40. Again, a double top resistance on the day. Let's see if we actually see a breakdown below the 50 EMA. If we do see one, that's going to be the first time in the entire day. So on the day, that will be the first time we're seeing a breakdown below the 50 exponential moving average. Looks like we are potentially going to see a breakdown below $49.12. So SoFi, I've been getting a lot of questions on SoFi recently. It's just been, on Discord and even on live chat, it's just so many questions on SoFi. I've already mentioned SoFi. I've been looking into this. It's on my watch list. Just waiting for it to establish the support. I mean, the last couple of days, there's been heavy volume, a lot of selling pressure. So of course, no doubt we're down, close to 28%. It's definitely on my watch list. But right now, it's just, there's too much selling pressure here, right? We're down another 2% today. So I would give it a few more days to kind of consolidate because now we're trading below the moving averages. Right now, I'm a little bit cautious jumping in only because there could be some more downside now that we're trading below the moving averages. But yeah, definitely this is on my watch list, and we are looking to set up a swing trading opportunity on this for a potential reversal trade back up to highs of 20, 21, highs of $22 per share. So SoFi, yeah, it's on my watch list. Just holding off to see how the price and the pattern develops moving forward. All right, so still the 50 EMA holding up. So that's going to be the 50 exponential moving average, the yellow line, still holding up a little bit at close to $49.13. So we're right there. We're probably, let's see if we actually get a break to the downside, or if we have what it takes to push higher once again and eventually break out over 49.40 levels. What do you guys think? Quick, in the live chat, what do you guys think? Are we going to see a breakdown below the 50 EMA? If that happens, it's going to be the first time during the day that we're seeing a breakdown below the 50 exponential moving average. What do you guys think? Looks like a double top. Yes, so you're right. 49.40 is a double top resistance here that we got hit at 12.07 and then once again at 12.21. So twice we got rejected, and right now we're just hovering over that 50 exponential moving average. All right, so AI says down. There we go. Starting to see some push higher here. Lunchtime here. We might, yeah. So the volume may drop off a little bit, and you'll notice that the volume has been going down. So this is the 5-minute chart. So the volume, of course, has been coming down a little bit. Yep, so the volume has been coming down, but let's see if we actually do get a potential retest of 49.40, or if actually do we get a breakdown below this $49.13 level. It's going to be this level right here on the 1-minute chart. So again, previous resistance, back tested support, aligned with that 50 EMA. So not only do we have the moving average, but we also have a price action validated support at that $49.13. So right now we're range bound. Round 3. it could be round 3. So this was the round 1. So right here was the first round of rally for Nio stock here. And then we moved up higher, consolidated, came back down to these moving averages. This right here was round 2, and according to Jason, there is going to be a round 3 all the way up till $51. We'll see. Yeah, and it just amazes me how much volume drops off at lunch. Yes, and a lot of people are saying, have you guys watched, what is that show? Billions? Has anybody watched that show? Great show, by the way. If you haven't really checked it out, I would highly encourage you to check it out. I think it was like the first scene when they were talking about this trade, and and they wanted it to be missed, so they actually did it during lunchtime because there's low volume, there's not a lot of people at desk, so they actually made that trade at lunchtime because they wanted it to be missed, because they were putting in a big order, and of course they would have spiked a huge volume as well. Someone recommended it to me, now watch it. Yeah, definitely check it out. It's a great show. Alright, so right now just waiting. Nio is just like starting to decide whether we're going to see a breakout over 49.50 or if we're going to see a breakdown below that level. Chances are we're seeing a little bit of a negative divergence intraday. So of course, on the 1-minute chart, you'll notice that this is the higher highs, and at the same time we're starting to form these lower highs here. So there is some bearish divergence or negative divergence for Nio. So it would not surprise me if we do eventually see a breakdown below $49.13. But the momentum's strong. The momentum is strong for Nio. So charge point really taking off, up over 9%, 9.5%. Trading past over 34.50 levels. So Deepinder says, Academy made 22K on Nike calls, you're back. That's fantastic. Nike, when it was up, like after the earnings, 15%, you timed that trade. That is absolutely incredible. Congratulations. That is just fantastic on Nike. I don't think Nike's up today, right? I think Nike's probably flat or down. Yeah, so it's down a little bit, or 1.43%. Huge gap for Nike here that it left. And I was actually analyzing the stock in the past. Maybe I'll do a video on it, but right now we're just going to focus on Nio for the purpose of this live stream. So again, going for a third retest, third time's the charm. Going for the third retest of 49.40. See if you actually get a breakout over this level. Here we go. 49.37. The 5-minute chart also looks really strong here. We're seeing potential retest of 49.40 now. We're literally at that level for the third time in a span of 1 hour. 1-minute chart here. Again, 49.40. We're just like staying up there. There we go. There's the breakout. 49.43. Again, got a bullish crossover for the MACD over the signal line. The RSI also came in much higher. So there we go. New high of day for Nio. So 49.45 is the high for the day. 49.50 is the resistance on the daily chart. So we are 5 cents away from that resistance, from that target. Absolutely incredible candle here. And I was talking about it earlier. You know, this candle overshadows the past like 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 days are overshadowed by this one candle. Absolutely incredible move from Nio on the day. So NASDAQ futures now up over 1%. Dow futures are down 64 basis points. So massive, movement away from the Dow Jones to the NASDAQ here. So relative performance chart. You'll notice that this right here is QQQ versus SPY. Let's go over to the daily chart. And this index is up over 1% on the day. So if you go over to our relative performance chart, go over to QQQ versus the Dow Jones, that's up over 1.6%. So even more so than the NASDAQ and S&P correlation. So this is the move to the upside here on the week. This actually was not available earlier. I only had the NASDAQ and the S&P correlation. This is another chart that I've actually created, simply taking into account the QQQ divided by the Dow Jones ETF, ticker symbol DIA, and we're trading at just over 1 levels. So 1.07 is the target to beat for us to completely see a full rotation away from Dow Jones to the NASDAQ. So that would be their target, 1.08. So a little bit of volatility here from Nio. So we did come down to lows of 49.32 levels. Market went crazy right after I left. Crazy stuff. So Zach, welcome back. I kind of missed your message. So back from vacation. So hope your vacation was fun and you did something fun as well. But yeah, you're back and the markets are just rallying higher. So how do you do that? Relative charts on Thinkorswim, any idea? That's a great question. I don't know if they actually provide that, because this is a calculation, right? This is actually something that you can create by simply using basic math. So, well, Airbnb breaking out over 150 here. Let's take a quick look. Quick peek here. Up another 31 basis points or 70 basis points. So nothing crazy for Airbnb. But the chart that you can actually create on TradingView is simply take any ticker you want. Let's say QQQ. And let's say that you want to add that with S&P 500. You just add the plus sign and then you add SPY and then you hit enter. It's going to add the QQQ and the SPY together at 779, right? It's up over 40 basis points because this is market cap weighted. The NASDAQ is actually heavier weighted because on the day it's up over 70 basis points and the S&P is down, hence this index is up. So you can do that with all types of different crazy things. So, on our sector indices, I've created a lot of these different sort of tech specific, semiconductor specific, different types of indices, right? So this is strictly healthcare. So it goes over Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, CVS, Pfizer, UNH. Collectively, we're down 60 basis points. So I believe this one actually goes over the big tech's relative performance to the NASDAQ. So, right now it's a little bit down because I believe some big tech stocks are pulling back a little bit. So again, you can kind of do all these crazy charts on them. This is the banking stocks. So banking sector, we're down a little bit over 60 basis points for them. This is energy. So we've got Chevron, Exxon Mobil, we got Hess, Occidental, and they're collectively down over 3.5%. So yeah, you can kind of build up your own indices and your own charts on TradingView. All right, so Nio apparently is breaking out over 49.46. 49.47 is the high for the day. 49.50 is the resistance that we have marked, and we're now 3 cents off of that resistance level. Literally 3 cents. So, beyond that, the next resistance I have is at $55. That right there is going to be the level. So again, previous resistance, previous support, previous next resistance as well for us to watch. So next target on Nio is going to be at $55 once we get a breakout over 49.50. But once we get a breakout over 49.50, we're going to potentially come back down to kind of revalidate, retest that support before making the next leg up higher, right? So it's going to look something like a breakout, come back down, validate, and then break out to the upside at $55. So now we're sitting exactly at 49.50 levels. Here comes a new high of days. Let's take a quick look on XPeng, XPEV. So XPeng also pushing higher. So Nio and XPeng were forming a very similar pattern, kind of like this symmetrical sort of pennant or this triangle. You'll notice that we did see a breakout for XPeng as well. And 46.22 is the next resistance to watch for XPeng. Not quite an aggressive move for XPeng as opposed to Nio. So a very simple example is the volume, right? So the volume, take a look at XPeng, 9 million shares traded versus 17.4 million. That's the average 10-day volume. So almost half, right? We're 50% of our way there. So it's going to be a normal sort of volume day for XPeng by the time the day closes. So we got what? About 3.5 hours left to close, 3 hours and 15 minutes. We're going to potentially end up at close to 17 million shares traded, which is why this move for XPeng is good, but is not as great as what we're seeing for Nio, because if you look at the volume, almost 57 million shares traded already, right, with 3 hours left to spare. So the volume is really taking this higher, as opposed to XPeng, which is also up, doing a great job pushing higher, up over 6%, but the volume is quite low, relatively speaking. Same with Li Auto, I believe, or Li Auto is actually on a strong move to the upside. So look at that. So almost 14 million shares traded, and we got about 3 hours and 15 minutes left for the markets to close. So again, this is the absolutely crazy move, up over 7%, coming from lows of $15. This thing is up over 114%. But I think Li Auto also deserves that move to the upside because, at one point this thing was down over 66%, as opposed to Nio, which only, I believe, went down 40% from its highs. So this was a drop of 52% from its highs. So a more aggressive drop for Li Auto, for XPeng, which is why we're seeing a jump of over 100% as opposed to for Nio, which is up over 62%. $49.50 after the pullback. So what would be a good level to enter Nio in case of a pullback? So there are going to be 3 levels to watch very closely. The 49 or 46.30 is going to be the first level here. All the way as low as $43, all the way as low as $40. So those are 3 support levels to watch along the way for Nio stock. And again, the probability for us to retest those levels decreases as we move lower and lower. So chances of us to see $30 are far lower than for us to see 46.40 or 46.50 levels. Alright, so on the 1 minute candle, we're just continuing to move sideways a little bit, consolidating right at 49.47 and kind of aligned with this 21 EMA, validating some of that support at 49.40 levels. And the 5 minute chart, of course, looks really, really strong. We had a little bit of a pullback here, then continue to push higher. There is some divergence, not gonna lie. Like even on the 1 minute chart, there is some divergence here. But again, the momentum is really strong. And there we go, 49.48 for Nio. 49.49. We're 1 cent off from that target. 49.50 again is the resistance. We're literally right there, 1 cent away. So Nio now up over 9.75%. And charge point, look at that, up over almost 10%. Strong move. GM is down over 2.85 and Ford is down over 1.8%. So, all right, we're getting a little bit of rejection at 49.49. What a number. Right at 49.49. So, if you close at 49.49, that's going to be a little bit upsetting if you don't actually retest 49.50 or actually break out over 49.50. So 49.48. So this was kind of like a very small bull flag here that we're seeing. Like again, consolidation, triple top, rallied higher, started to consolidate sideways. Then we saw a bit of a breakout here, but we're just trying to stay up there, close to 49 levels. Power hour will bring us over 49.50. Yeah, hopefully we'll see that towards the close in the last couple hours here. Yes, let's have Nio join charge point up over 10% here. 34.89. Let's take a quick look on charge point. So yeah, just continuing to push higher, right? Making high of the day still at 34.89. So again, I think a part of it is obviously the infrastructure bill that's getting passed. They said $15 billion is what's going to be allocated to electric vehicle infrastructure, cars, vehicles, transportation, all that different stuff. So charge point kind of located in Europe, parts of Asia, parts of course the United States as well, is going to greatly benefit from this EV infrastructure. And as more and more jurisdictions, regulations are pushing towards this movement for electric vehicles, charge point is going to be a great beneficiary of that. So Nio coming down a little bit. Again, 49.49 is a double candle resistance on the 1 minute, and now we're seeing a more aggressive pullback for the Nio stock on the 1 minute chart. Again, validating, tagging that 21 EMA at 49.37. This is going really high, just watch. Jason says, so yeah, let's see. Yeah, 7.5 billion in infrastructure, 7.5 on electric buses. So I think it was 15 billion total. There we go. So there's the pullback. The 50 EMA now sits at 49.26. So that right there would be the level to watch next. And again, if you do get a breakdown, there's going to be some support at 49.13, 49.14 levels. But below that, then we could see some more downside for Nio stock. So 49.49. What a number. We'll add heavily near $43. Took profits on Nio, will average and re-entry on support non-financial advice. That's good. I mean, everyone has a different strategy. We're not here to tell anyone what to do. So, we're here to make decisions on our own based on the data that's available to us. So, congratulations, Zach, on taking profits. And yeah, the next support level intraday are going to be the 50 EMA and the 49.13 level, but on the daily chart, there's going to be 46.45 level, all the way as low as $43. Guys, do me a favor and drop a like, because we have almost 400 people watching and less than 100 likes. So I would really appreciate that if you guys can drop a like for this video, which basically helps out the channel and pushes out this stream to more and more people out there. So thank you so much. So Tesla is actually getting left a little behind. Let's take a look. So we're still up 2.4%. It's still a strong day for Tesla. It's just that the market cap now, for Tesla is 663 billion. So it's a little bit more difficult for us for basically the market to move something as big as Tesla or Apple or Microsoft. So, for Nio, which is only at 70 billion, it's almost at 1/10 of the market cap as Tesla. So it needs less capital inflow to actually move as opposed to Tesla, which is already at $660 billion company. So 2.4% market cap increase is still a lot of money in terms of billions of dollars. So it's still going up, but it's just on a relative basis. It looks less because it's a much higher market cap company. Likes going up like Nio today, yes. I'll end the live stream if we get up to 49.50. If you get to 49.50 level, if you get a breakout, then we can call it. No, I'm just kidding. It's getting pretty late here, 10:22 p.m. I'll probably get to bed in like 30 or 40 minutes here. Alright, so we're pushing higher once again, 43, 40 levels. Yes, I am really trying to go. So Turtle Bay, I am in New Delhi, so I'm in India. So Nio has that not stopping today pattern. It really does. It really does. There's a lot of momentum behind Nio stock today. So looking forward 3 years, where do I see Nio stock? That's a great question. So I see Nio as a company producing close to 1 million vehicles per year, if not more, established in Europe, established in the US, one of the big EV manufacturers in China, very user-centric companies, so they have a lot of Nio Power, Nio houses across the world built out. They've got a lot of users on their app that they have available. Of course, Nio Autonomous Driving as a revenue service per month on a subscription basis. They've got that as a very successful business model. Battery as a service as a very successful model. So those are both going to be higher ticket items, so to speak. So their overhead is not as much as actually producing vehicles. So their margins are going to increase in the future. So my price target over the longer term is $150 plus on a Nio, based on reasonable price to sales, price to earnings potential, if they can scale up those revenues in the future as well. So I think 1 million vehicles was roughly $75 billion US in revenue for the company. So I think that was kind of like the projection that I had for Nio stock. So this year alone, I'm expecting Nio to do at least 90,000 vehicles. 90,000 vehicles, that's going to be a jump of about 100% year over year. Revenues of $5 billion US. That's also going to be a jump of 100% year over year. All right, you guys. So hopefully this stream was helpful. The market's, definitely pushing higher aggressively. Of course, I will be putting out updates on both Nio and Tesla, very, very soon. So I'll wake up and, of course, put out an update for you guys. So Ruby, we've got early bird unfortunately is sold out. We've actually had limited spots available for that. We had that open for several months. But of course we've reached capacity, but the regular investor tier is still open, right? And we're gonna have a sale on 4th of July in observance of the Independence Day, because we have a long weekend coming up next week. So it's gonna start this Friday, and again we're gonna have very limited spots available for that as well. If you wish to check that out, the link is pinned up on the comments, and of course you can send out an email to me if you like. I'm just gonna drop that over here. So that right there is going to be my email if somebody wishes to reach us out. It's simply my username, so castwrp@gmail.com, and I'll make sure to save a spot for you for our sale. So again, thank you so much for joining in. Make sure that you guys drop a like. It really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you're new here. Hope you guys have a great day, great evening, wherever you guys are watching from. And I hope you finish the day on a strong green note as well, with the markets rallying even higher. So thank you so much for joining in. I love you guys. Peace, and I will see you guys in the next live stream.